Okay, this is unit lesson 3, Explore. Objectives. Students will be able to solve literal equations or formulas given a variable. So we're just solving equations for problems that have more than one variable. So these are a little odd looking, but a formula is a mathematical relationship or rule expressed in symbols or variables. When asked to solve for any one variable, move the other terms away from that variable and isolate it on one side of the equation. All other variables and/or terms must be properly moved to the other side of the equation and kept in the final form of the solution. So look at example 1. We have m plus n equals p. Right now, this equation is being solved for p. We'd like to move it around so it's being solved for n. So we need n equals something. So how do we do that? Well, we focus on the n. We see it that it's on this side, and the m is also there. So what we need to do is move the m over to the other side. So how do we move things following the DCMI orders of operations? This is a positive m. We want to move it by adding its opposite, which is a negative m. And we want to move a negative m to both sides. So you will get n, so this will go away, and you'll get n equals, these are not like terms, right? So we're not putting them together, we're just going to put them over there. So notice that you can put them over there, or these can be in any order as long as the p remains positive and the m becomes negative because we moved it to the other side. So this equation is being solved for n. Okay, that's all there is to it. So we're basically playing Rubik's Cube with it. We want to keep everything we got. We're not getting rid of anything. We're just moving it around properly. Okay. So right now, this equation here, for example, 2, is being solved for y. We want to change it around to solve for b. So to solve for b, we want to move the mx term away from the b. So if this is a positive mx, we want to subtract mx from it to get it to go away on this side and add it over here. So this is my final answer, or you can turn it around and have the b on the other side. Just make sure your term of mx remains negative and your y is positive for this particular example. And the one you're solving for must always stay positive. Okay. Example 3, d equals rt, distance equals rate times time, solve for time. So notice that instead of being added, these two letters, these two variables are being multiplied. So we want to use the isolate thing we learned. Remember that? We're going to multiply or divide by same. So if we have a r being multiplied by rt, we want to divide by r. That would get rid of the r. And our final answer would be d over t equals r, or you could turn it around. Okay. Typically in ALEKS, you're going to need to just put in a d over t because they'll have an r equals sitting there to remind you of what we're solving for. Okay. Let's move to the bottom here. I got one more example and then we'll practice. We have h equals 2m over n and solve for this m right here. Okay, notice the variables that needs to be isolated is inside a fraction. So we need to clear our fraction like we did in the last lesson. Well, we're going to do that next. But to solve for n, we need to multiply both sides for, so this is kind of a lead up for our next lesson as well. We have seen it before, but we haven't called it this before. That's where I'm kind of struggling with that. So to clear the fraction is by multiplying both sides by the LCD of n. So like anything else, you want to clear the fraction on the bottom by multiplying by itself. So we're going to multiply both sides by n. That gets rid of it and moves it to the other side. And then we got to clear the 2 out. Okay. You could do them both at once, but I did them one at a time so it wouldn't be confusing here. So that'll leave you m equals hn over 2. Okay, so let's try some of these. I took these right out of Alex's homework. So 18 plus n equals m. So what do we want? We want the n by itself. So we need to move the 18. That's all. So n equals m minus 18. Or I could put negative 18 plus m. Up to you, but I need all that for the answer. Okay. If Alex has this part in here, you want to just type in m minus 18 or negative 18 plus m, whichever one you want. All right, this one's being multiplied though. So I need to, it's being solved for y, so I need to solve for x. So I have to get the x alone. So this is going to be x equals y over 4. That's all. Solve for x. Let's see, that's there. So I need to get rid of the u. Notice this is different. This is an isolate. This is a move. Okay? So we're doing the same thing we did with the numbers. This is a v plus u. Make sure you're typing in those things correctly. This one here, I'm solving for w. It's in a fraction with a 5. So if I multiply by the LCD, which is 5, right? That's going to give me w equals 5g. That looks better. You can put g5 if you want. It's the same thing. Let's see. Solving for p is down here, so this one's a little strange. It's still buried in a fraction, so I still want to clear my LCD by moving it up just to make it look a little better. Okay. So now I want to solve for p, so I'm going to get rid of the t. So my final answer is 2 over t. Some people say you just swap their places. Yeah, I'm showing you how you, oops, sorry, let's make these letters. Showing you how you swap their places, okay? Instead of the t being up top and the p down here, you end up with p up here and t down there. It does get swapped, but this is why and how it gets swapped. All right, this last one, I'm not sure what I'm solving for yet, but I need to get the b off the bottom, I'm sure. So this is going to be 16 equals 8y times b. So you can put it like that, or you can just throw the b in here. Even, where was it? The one that had the little parenthesis. This one. This is just 2mn, right? But this is showing you're still multiplying. So to get the y by itself, I'm going to divide by everything that isn't a y, okay? So 8b, that's going to leave me a 2 over b equals y. So there are other ways to do these, like I said before. As long as we end up with the same answer and you show your steps, don't just magically do it. I need to see some steps. Whatever works for you, okay?